Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest Power Up series for SuiteProjects Pro. I'm Ronn Breaux, CEO of Topstep. Thank you for joining. Today's topic is capturing additional data points within the timesheet module in NetSuite SuiteProjects Pro. When we work with our customers, we find that users entering time is a pretty constant event. It is the number one place where users interact with SuiteProjects Pro. And it also gives you an opportunity to capture additional information through the timesheeting process. This gives us the opportunity to capture additional data points and have the user help us provide those data points. The good news is in SuiteProjects Pro, there are several options to have users providing additional data within the timesheet process. So let's take a look what's available to us. So in this demo account, I've enabled a number of add-ons to the timesheet, and we'll walk through what each one of these can be used for. But we're going to start with the basics, and that's really the notes capturing. You will all know that when you're entering time into SuiteProjects Pro, the user has the option to enter notes for whatever they did that day in a descriptive manner. Couple of things about this that we recommend. Out of the box, there's not just a notes field, there's a description and a notes field. Well, we found that that can be confusing. Some users are putting in a description, some users are putting in notes, and then you're not getting a consistent data set from the data being put into the timesheet. So very simple within the administration timesheet settings, other settings, you can disable the description field so that they only see the notes. And so we do recommend that for all our customers. It does cause confusion otherwise. Also, be aware that the notes can be required on a project by project basis. So out of the box, you have this field called require notes on time entry, which can be checked on a project by project. So our customers will decide if they want to require notes for internal time. What did you do for that, 2 hours you were in meetings or studying or training? So could be very helpful. Also on customer projects, potentially, where customers questioning the hours, you have the notes to help back up the work you were doing. So being able to selectively require notes can be very beneficial. Let's go back to the timesheet. So time type is probably the most popular element that we see added to timesheets. The most common use case is allowing the end user to select billable, non-billable type of dropdowns. This could be helpful in determining, because time types can be filtered in billing rules. So within billing rules for hourly billing, you can filter the time type to only capture billable hours, and by selecting time type here, you could then automatically filter those hours. Although we typically recommend customers control this more at a task level with non-billable hours and on a task, but this is a very popular option. The other thing is you could also use this to filter which options are available. For example, for internal projects, you would never be able to select billable. So there's a setting in the system. You can request support. It's called limit time types. And if you request this, it will add a filter on the project properties that allows you to say which time types are available when this project is selected on the timesheet. And this again could be very helpful. Now, one thing to note, when you enable this limit time type feature, the time type moves to after the task, which makes sense because you first have to select the project so that it knows what time types are available to be selected. So that happens when you turn that on. Service is another one that is available. This one we rarely, if ever, have seen, but did want to show you that it is available. The service basically allows an end user to select the service that they're doing, which can affect billing and RevRec, and then obviously any integrations with your GL system potentially. So be careful with this one. This one we generally try to either control at a task level or we control it at a billing rule level, but this is something that could have a business case of selecting what service are you working on when you're doing your work. Payroll type is another flexible option if you need. What we saw seen a lot of times with payroll type, and even in conjunction with time type, is being able to say, was I on site or was I remote? If I was on site, where was I? And this can be used for capturing how many hours you did at certain locations. So the combination of time type could be used for remote or on site. Payroll type could be all 50 states of the US or countries. And it could help you be able to then report on all your hours in certain locations. And then that would be able to determine what kind of potential sales tax implications your hours have. So again, another use case we've seen with a lot of customers. The last option we see is this hours remaining. This gets a little bit complex because you have to turn on an hours remaining feature, again, under the timesheet other settings. And this allows the end user now to say, how many hours do I have remaining on my task? So the project manager will assign a user hours on the task. So if we take a look here at our task, so we're looking at Larry. Larry's been assigned 24 hours, and the system automatically calculates before Larry enters his time that Larry has 24 hours remaining on this task. There are two ways to change this 24 hours. The PM can do it at the task level, or the end user can be allowed to do it on the timesheet level. So if I came in and hit 8 and then save, it's going to tell me I've got 16 hours remaining on this task from the 24 I was given by the project team. But maybe I'm super duper efficient and I only need 10 more hours to finish. I can come in here and enter 10 hours and hit save. And so now I've updated the system's remaining hours to 10 versus the 16. So, but this does not send out any workflows or any alerts. So it's a little bit doing things that are not really visible in the system. So we try to warn customers, be a little careful with this particular feature because you need to make sure you are monitoring it carefully so that everyone is aware of the ever-changing hours. Thanks again for joining today. Topstep's here to help with your SuiteProjects Pro needs. If there's anything we can do, please reach out to our website or hit us up on LinkedIn. Thanks again, and everyone have a great day.